So Playboi Carti just released his highly anticipated album I Am Music this past Friday, and I'll be the first to say that I was very surprised on how much love he was receiving for this project.
It's time! It's been 5 years!
So if you were somewhat tuned in into pop culture this past week, especially on the hip hop music side, you would have known that Carti dropped his third highly anticipated album, Music. And when I say this project literally took over the internet the night it released, I mean it was everywhere. You could not avoid it. It was trending on Twitter, all over Instagram, TikTok, every Carti post being posted on every blog site. It was everywhere. But when Carti eventually released it, after lying about it coming out at midnight, to my surprise, it was very well received off rip. Many fans enjoyed it. They called it a 10 out of 10 off rip. It was a classic to them. You had academics on this live stream hyping the album up, saying this was gonna change music. You had all the biggest music live streamers on live waiting for the album to come out, and overall I feel like Carti did what he was supposed to do. But in this case, this time it worked in perfection for him. He dropped a body of work where a lot of the music catered to his core fans but also catered to the mainstream, while at the same time still having his own unique sound where a plethora of fans can still all enjoy it all across the board. And I feel like with this album, Carti really wanted to separate himself from the rest of his peers, similar to what Academics was talking about, where based on how people receive this album to the culture, this could really break the mold into something bigger than itself, like Astroworld did for Travis Scott, or even Utopia to a smaller degree. It's already off rip having that big impact where everybody stops everything they're doing just to listen to this project. And like Kanye West's Donda and Astroworld, this project has already created pivotal moments. And we really have to start talking about where does Carti stand at right now as an artist of his culture, where he's the most talked about, most hyped, the biggest fan base, and the most sought after artist of this newer generation. Where does he rank at? Is he top 3 overall, top 5, top 10, top 3 best in Atlanta, top 5 best in Atlanta, top 3 best of all time of his SoundCloud generation? Like, where does Carti stand at in music? Because for a long time Carti already had all those accomplishments, but where he really lacked in was the first week sales of his prior projects versus on how we talked about him, because we used to talk about him like he was the top 3 artist in the game but will only sell barely over 100,000 in the first week, compared to now he's already projected to do 250,000 this first week while having the 7th biggest streaming debut ever, which would now officially solidify him as one of the big dogs in the rap game. And if these sales stay true to the projection, he would be outselling Drake and Party Next Door's collab album, doubling the sales of J. Cole's last mixtape, outselling Future and Metro's mixtape by a wide margin, quadrupling the sales of Uzi's last album Eternal Will Take 2, nearly 100,000 more than Lil Baby's last album Wham, and he's supposedly the biggest in Atlanta. Basically what I'm saying is, if we haven't already, should Carti now be in that same tier of conversation as the big 3, including Travis and Future now, if this album delivers like it's projected to do? Or is Carti still not in that caliber of an artist yet? Cause if you ask me, I think he is. The only thing that's really lacking from him compared to those other artists is his catalog, cause this is his 3rd studio album he's releasing with only 1 mixtape, but even then you can make a case that every project he's released came with a moment in hip hop, whether it was the self-titled with him breaking out to the mainstream, or Die Lit with him cultivating a punk sound that no one else in hip hop had, or Whole Lotta Red where at one point that was the most talked about hyped up album in the United States. And like this previous album, the whole hip hop culture stopped when he dropped it. Like every project was a phase and evolution he went through that very few artists can achieve, and it's really helped mold it and shape him to the artist that he is today. And it's the reason why that many rappers have a lot of respect for his artistry, whether it's his peers or the younger generation.